Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Karlene's Anime Corner. And I cannot wait to talk about today's anime. It was a load of fun to watch. Although I do have a confession, it's a 24 episode series and I only watched episodes 1 through 12, which is about a season in Japan. So I figured that was fair. The holiday season is here and it has been a great holiday so far. All the anime sales have been fabulous, and I've added so many items to my collection, and I am going to be so broke at the end of this month, but it's so worth it. There's a running joke with my friends that I measure the anime I buy during the Christmas holiday season by feet. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm almost at the 1 foot marker so far. And of course, this podcast would not be complete without an Animal Crossing update. And it is snowing! I am so happy. I love fall and winter in Animal Crossing. The fall with the leaves coming down and winter with the snow. I am so happy. The anime I'm reviewing this time tells you exactly what it is with the title. It is called My Love Story, and it is the sweetest romance ever. Think of it as being full of sparkles and flowers, delicious confectionery, a lot of blushes, some misunderstandings, and it is absolutely treacly sweet and hysterically funny at times. My Love Story is based on a manga that was written by Kazune Kawahara. It was serialized from 2011 to 2016. It does have an American release, so it is possible to read it in English here in the States. The anime aired from April 2015 to September 2015, so a spring and summer anime, and that is the perfect time of year to watch this show. It's also the perfect show to watch when it's dark, gloomy, cold, and just kind of outside. So, also a great winter anime. So pretty much let's call it a year-round perfect love story. So let's start by introducing you to our 3 main characters. Takeo Goda is the most kind-hearted, amazing 10th grader you will ever meet. But unfortunately, for those he doesn't know, he tends to scare them all because he is also appropriately described in this anime as a giant gorilla. He is way bigger than any other kid in his class. But anybody who gets to know him knows that he has a heart of gold and will do anything for his friends. He also is a very skilled member of the judo club when he was younger, and he continues with those skills throughout the series. Some of the things he accomplishes in this series, I think he's a little bit, I would label it as superhuman. He manages to survive so much that he shouldn't, like falling off a mountain, a burning building, having a light pole fall on him. There are a ton of things that somehow he manages to survive that no ordinary human being should. His best friend and classmate is Makoto Tsunakawa. They have been friends since they were in elementary school together, and Tsunakawa is your typical pretty boy. He's slight, he has blonde hair, he's just pretty looking, and every girl immediately latches onto him as being a possible boyfriend. But he always turns them down. Takeo is used to, at this point, every girl that he thinks is great suddenly becoming interested in Tsunakawa and not in him at all. But he doesn't hold it against Tsunakawa. Tsunakawa is also a highly amusing character because he actually is the voice of common sense and reason throughout the entire thing. The last important character to talk about is Rinko Yamato. She is Takeo's love interest, and she is head over heels for him also. Rinko is your typical, very cute, very shy, soft-spoken anime girl, and she is a fabulous baker, and she is constantly making the most delicious-looking desserts throughout the entire series. I am bound and determined to find out if there is a cookbook related to this series, because if there is, I need to get it, because I want to know how to make Yamato's treats. Now, most romance anime are filled with misconceptions, misunderstandings, and lots of trouble and issues. And this one is no different, at least for the first 3 episodes, because Takeo is convinced that Yamato is actually in love with Tsunekawa and not with him. And no matter what Tsunekawa says, he firmly believes that's true because, well, while Takeo is a great guy, he's not the smartest guy. And so Tsunekawa has to spend 3 episodes having his best friend try to hook him up with the girl that's actually in love with Takeo. And fortunately, this series, after the 3rd episode, finally gets that straightened out, and we move on to seeing the relationship grow between Takeo and Yamato. Not that it wasn't a lot of fun while it lasted, but I'm glad they didn't play out the joke for too long. I love the little dramas that are throughout this series, like the "how do I get him to hold hands with me" question, and also the "how do I plan out the perfect birthday date for her." These are the wonderful little circumstances that they wind up in, yet somehow they lead to the abnormal circumstances of people falling off mountains and buildings on fire. You'll just have to watch it to see how that all plays out. I would give this show a 4 out of 5. The only negative to it so far that I've been able to see is that it is truly a very, very sweet, lovey-dovey show. And to be honest, while I do enjoy watching those, I need a break occasionally. So after a couple episodes, I'll go watch something that has like people with swords banging on each other. So anyway, on to our Japanese culture moment. In My Love Story, Miss Yamato finds out that Takeo's birthday is January 1st, and she immediately begins to imagine the wonderful mochi treats that she can make for him. So I decided that today I would find out a little bit more about mochi and what exactly it is. Just to be clear, I have tried mochi, and it is not my favorite food, but I will get into that a bit later. Traditionally, mochi is a rice cake made from a short grain rice, a little bit of water, some sugar, and cornstarch. And the way they prep the rice traditionally is that they soak the rice overnight, steam it, and then they put it in a giant wood mortar, and they have 2 guys with giant wood mallets pound on it until it turns into a sticky paste. And that is mochi in a nutshell. Sticky paste rice that's made into cakes. But there's a gazillion different ways to prepare it, to flavor it, to season it, to present it. And so the mochi that you probably have seen the most is called daifuku. It is a type of mochi that is soft and round and usually stuffed with a sweet filling. I've tried from a store a red bean paste and a peanut one, and the flavors weren't bad. I think I definitely preferred the peanut one because it tasted more like peanuts. The red bean paste was just a little odd, but I had never had anything with red bean paste before. But mochi has a really weird texture. It's really sticky and solid and just chewy, and I just for some reason didn't like it. But I know that a lot of people do. So don't take my word for it, and definitely go try it for yourselves. Now, a fun way to eat mochi that they've started doing is to actually put ice cream balls in the middle of it. So it's called mochi ice cream. And I did like it a lot better that way. It wasn't quite so chewy when it was cold. And I've had it that way at restaurants, but they also sell mochi ice cream at some of the grocery stores in the frozen section. So that could be a fun experiment one day to buy some mochi ice cream and check it out while watching My Love Story. Thank you for joining the podcast today, and if you have any questions, comments, or thoughts about what I talked about, you can email me at the email address in the show notes. And I would like to give a shout out to my podcast partner, Leopold, my cat. He was remarkably well behaved today and just stared at me the entire time I talked into this microphone. Oh, also, to end on a fun note, I have a friend who has chickens, and one day she threw them some leftover mochi, And apparently, chickens really don't like mochi. It gets stuck on their beaks and they go around everywhere trying to rub it off. She also discovered her chickens don't really like Pocky either. They can't quite figure out what to do with it. So, if you have chickens, do not feed them mochi or Pocky. And I hope you guys have a great time watching lots of anime this holiday season.